Hello, and welcome to the Piano Lessons for Parents podcast. My name is Dr. N. Mason Conklin, and I'm here to help you help your child succeed at the piano. In just a few minutes a week, you can learn the basic musical concepts that will help you supervise and evaluate your child's practice time at home, and learn some tricks and tips to help make that practice time the most effective that it can be. On today's episode, we're going to talk about meter and metrical counting, a new way to count your rhythms. We went over meter a little bit last time, not last time, but in a previous podcast on measures. Remember that I pointed out that the bar lines that divided the music into little bite-sized pieces? Well, each of those pieces had the same number of beats. This organization of music, dividing music up into measures containing the same number of beats, is called meter. Now, there's a musical sign at the beginning of a piece that tells you how many beats will be in each measure. So we're looking now at C song, and this sign right here tells you how many beats there's going to be in each measure. Now, the sign looks a little bit like a fraction. It's not. There's not a dividing bar, but it looks a little bit like a fraction, and the way we say this meter is 4/4. We say that this piece is in 4/4 time. And this sign here is called a meter signature. Now, both of these numbers are important, but for the most part, the ones we're going to concentrate on for the first few years of piano lessons is the top number, the 4. It tells you how many beats are going to be in each measure. The bottom number tells you what kind of note is going to be the beat. So if we read this as a fraction, we might say that this is 4 quarters, or 4 quarter notes in each measure. And if you look up here, this is how we've been counting this top line. We have quarter, 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 half, whole note. And we've been counting it this way. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to get the rhythm right. The problem is, later on, we're going to have to do hands together music. And in hands together music, both hands may not be playing the same kind of note. And so we're going to need a way to coordinate both of those hands at the same time. The way we do that is to teach our kids how to count using metrical counting. So instead of saying 1, 1, 1, 1, we're simply just going to count to 4 over and over again, because we know there's going to be 4 quarter notes in every measure. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you clap whenever a note lines up with the number that you're saying, or you play whenever a note lines up with the number you're saying. So if I were to count and clap that piece, I'll do it the old way. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll do it the new way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you still need to know how many beats each kind of note is worth. But instead of saying 1, 2 for a half note, you just know that it's 2 beats, and so it's going to get 2 numbers. So here's how you put those numbers in. So this first note here is a quarter note. It's worth 1 beat, so I'm going to give it the number 1. This second note is also worth 1 beat, but I'm not going to put 1 with it. I'm going to give it the next counting number, 2. This note is worth 2 beats, but I'm not going to give it 1, 2. I'm going to say that it's going to get the next 2 counting numbers. So it gets 2 counting numbers. So this would be 3 and 4. And let me see if I can make that 3 line up. If I could do this with a pencil, it'd be really easy. You want your numbers to line up vertically with the note so that the first number goes directly underneath it. And if it gets more than one number, the first number goes directly underneath it, and the other numbers go out to the side. Again, this kind of note is worth 1 beat, so I'll give it 1. This kind of note is worth 1 beat, so it gets 1 counting number. And this kind of note is worth 2 beats, so it gets 2 counting numbers. The next 2, 3 and 4. Let me see if I can make that work. This kind of note is a quarter note. It gets 1 beat. This kind of note is a quarter note. It gets 1 counting number, so we'll give it the next counting number. This kind of note gets 1 beat, so it gets 1 counting number. And this kind of note gets 1 beat, 1 counting number. And this measure is exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we get down here to the whole note, let me do this. I'm just going to move this text box over here. Stretch it out a little bit and erase what's in it. This kind of note gets 4 beats, so it gets all 4 counting numbers with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me space them out some so that they line up. Again, with a pencil, this is much easier, and you can make the numbers line out a little bit easier. And that is how you play this piece using metrical counting. So, I'm going to count the entire thing using our new metrical counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You will also notice that this piece, Sea Song, does not have lyrics. Lyrics are a good way for kids to keep track of where they are in the music. And you'll also have noticed that in previous songs, the lyrics goes in the middle. The right-hand notes appear above the lyrics. The left-hand notes appear below the lyrics. Since we don't have lyrics, these counting numbers that we write in, and we encourage our students to write them in, can function as lyrics. They can function as their placeholder for their eyes so that they know where they are in the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as such, we also like to keep the same convention. We'll put the counting numbers above the left-hand notes, but below the right-hand notes. Later on, when we have hands together music, we'll keep with that. So if we had a left-hand note that we had to play with the first beat, it would be directly underneath the one. And then everything that lines up with that number is performed when you say this one. Okay, that's metrical counting. Tune in on Wednesday for the practice edition, and barring any technical difficulties, I will be able to bring you the practicing slowly edition of the practice edition. That edition. Yes, that edition. I'll see you then.